Hi guys, my name is Hamad,
My name is Andre.
and today we're going to be on episode 6. We're going to talk about client interactions on the gym floor and outside the gym, and how to maintain that professional interaction with them. So when on the gym floor, you want to explain to your client that they shouldn't be intimidated by the gym floor, and they shouldn't feel like they're being judged by everybody else. Sometimes you might have a client who's a little bit shy and reserved, so you want to express that to them that don't worry about everybody else. I'm not here to judge you. No one's gonna judge you, just let's focus on ourselves. Don't worry about everybody else, what they're doing. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed that you can't do that, because obviously everybody has different goals, and make that clear to them. Also, if your client feels intimidated by all the people in the gym, they feel like they're gonna be judged, and that's kind of like a big part of that. Make sure you try to seclude them in an area of the part of the gym where there's not a lot of people. Try to get stuff done there as much as possible. You might have to go back and forth and slowly introduce them to getting comfortable with everybody else.
When you're at the gym floor with your client, you're going to be talking with them no matter what. Nobody's going to spend an hour with somebody and just in pure silence just giving them straight directions. So you really want to be careful when you're talking to them. Don't discuss like politics, taboo topics, or edgy subjects that certain people might get offended by or triggered. Just because that might make your client feel uncomfortable, one, not want to train with you, or cause problems for your gym. You can talk about stuff like their diet, their eating habits, how their exercise is going, how they're feeling. Make sure you're also paying attention to what they're doing. It's a very important skill to be able to converse with someone while still watching what they're doing, just to make sure they're keeping proper form. And don't be afraid to, in a sense, cut them off during this time, just to correct the form, but do it in a polite manner. So just be like, okay, 1 second, can you fix this form? Watch your elbows, stuff like that. On occasions, and I mean, sometimes most people will do this, is they'll just kind of start rambling and they'll eventually tell you the whole life story. And you want to just make sure you're kind of giving them good feedback, like summarizing and affirming what they're saying. Try not to give them like any specific advice, just make them make the decision for themselves. If they're giving you like a problem or asking for advice on a problem, make sure you're just letting them do the work and you're just kind of guiding through the decision. So make sure you're very cautious when someone's having some kind of problem. And if they are giving you something that is confidential, keep it that way. And also, if you have like any concerns about some medical issues they might be having, like if they're planning on making a bad decision, maybe refer them to like a psychiatrist, a health professional, or something like that, just so you know you're doing your job correctly.
So you got to know your scope of practice. So when your clients are revealing a lot of sensitive information to you, just know when to outsource and let them know like, hey, there's people out there. Because a lot of the times your clients will reveal a lot of deep stuff to you, and you got to know when to outsource. And a lot of people don't know when to do that. So being able to recognize that issue, like maybe your client starts talking to you about suicidal thoughts they had, that's when you should be like, okay, let me refer you to somebody about that issue. But you know, obviously you can continue to train with them. Just know that that's not your scope of practice.
Right, and this could be also about diet. If they're revealing they're having trouble with their diet, or they feel like they have an eating disorder, be comfortable to refer them to someone else. Don't give them diet advice unless you're a registered dietitian or have a nutritional degree.
You can't prescribe or give somebody a certain supplement if you don't have any real background in that, and you don't know what kind of health implications that might cause them to that.
Right, and you can give general advice, like clearly no one's supposed to eat like 6,000 calories a day. You can just kind of give them like a range where they should be in, or like refer them to information like this article says, this is how much you should be eating, this is how much your cholesterol should be, this is what you should be taking, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Just general recommendations that are available to you, or just point them to the sources, but making direct recommendations like you need to eat 60 grams of carbs, 50 grams of protein per day, that is not acceptable. So one important skill that you have to acquire as a personal trainer is being able to keep track of things while conversing with someone. We touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but you should be able to, let's say you're talking to your client, you should be able to count how many reps they're doing, what set they're on, because most of the time they will forget, honestly. Rarely do people who have a personal trainer keep track of what they're doing. They'll be like, oh, I think I'm on number 5, 6, I don't know. So pay attention that if you have to count with your fingers, put it behind your back, count how many reps they're doing. Also, be visually aware of what they're doing. So make sure you're watching their form constantly and don't take your eyes away from them. You're responsible for the client. If they do something that interests them and they were under your supervision, you're responsible. So make sure you're kind of cautious when they are exercising, especially when it comes to heavier weight.
Crucial skill to have as a personal trainer is to be able to demonstrate and explain the workouts. A lot of the times your clients will forget the workout that you already taught them like 2 days ago. So like maybe Monday you taught them the workout, Wednesday they already don't remember it, which is fine. A lot of people are not there to like work out for fun. They're there for a reason usually, just to kind of get fit, get themselves more healthy. So they're relying on you to kind of give them that information. So it's not the end of the world. Just be happy and explain it to them. It's fine that you have to repeat yourself. It's totally cool. Make sure you have that skill in explaining and demonstrating the workouts. Also a good idea, if you don't know the workouts or you haven't done the workouts yourself, it's probably a good idea to start them because that's the best way you'll be able to explain them.
Yeah, make sure you practice with the breach, even if you're not constantly doing this exercise. Make sure you're skilled at it so you can show them a correct movement. And if you don't know a certain exercise, like if the client asks you, like, can you show me power cleans, and you have never done that before, probably not a reason to show them.
Yeah, it's okay to say that you're not comfortable showing them that because that's not your skill, your area of expertise. So it's totally cool to say, I need more knowledge on that. I'm not really knowledgeable in that area.
Yeah. So another important skill that you have to have is being able to navigate through the gym floor. If you're working out in the morning and it's empty, that's not a problem for you. But if you're at the busy hours like noon or like later in the evening after work hours, there's probably going to be a lot of people in your gym. It's going to be packed. You're not going to be able to use the equipment that you want, and you're going to have to take your client to another machine. So you're going to have to be able to decide what alternative exercise you can do if something is taken, and how to guide your client to get to them. They don't know what machine that you want them to use. So telling them, okay, we're going to go on the Smith machine, and they're like, what's that? And make sure you're seeing them at all times.
So also you want to stay professional by, if you have to maybe keep track of time for your client for like maybe like a 30-second plank. Some people might want to use their phone just to keep a timer. I don't think that's like the best idea, just because other people in the gym are watching you. They don't know that you're taking time of your client. They might just think you're on your phone and just dazing off while they're doing their planks. So it kind of represents you in a bad way. So best way to go about that would be to actually bring a real timer with you, or just look at the clock. A lot of gyms have clocks all around the gym for a reason, just to keep track of time, and it's really helpful for personal trainers like you guys.
Yeah, and a timer isn't expensive, like $5, and that'll make you look a lot more professional versus you using your phone.
And one exception to that is an iPad. An iPad might look a little better than a phone because nobody's gonna be on their iPad really texting. They'll know it's for like personal training purposes.
It's also a good idea to watch the relationship you build with your clients. You want to maintain a professional relationship where you are in the authoritative figure, but also be their friend in a way so they do feel comfortable around you. But it's kind of hard to maintain that, because if you do become too friendly with them, they might not necessarily listen to you. They're like, oh, it's okay. Or also another good reason is if they do like skip your session, they don't show up, you're faced with the challenge: do I charge them or do I not? And is it an upside for you to get your money out of that day, or keep the good reputation with the client? Someone who gets charged like $50 for their session that they didn't attend because they didn't cancel it 24 hours prior, they're probably not going to be too happy with you. So make sure, even if they do, let's say it's the first time, and you choose not to charge them, make sure you make them aware that the next time you have to charge them, because it is your job. They get up at a certain time, you are there, it's not your fault.
You might have like a strike system where if they get like 1 or 2 strikes, then you'll start charging them for every time they miss a session that's really close to the deadline of the time of session. So you can implement any different model you want.
Yeah, you can kind of gauge a person. If they're chronically doing this, you probably want to charge them and let them get the point that this is not okay.
So you want to keep it professional with your clients in and outside the gym. So when you're outside the gym, this could entail maybe texting your clients. They might tell you like a joke or two, which is fine, whatever. You guys can send jokes back and forth. It's totally normal. You are building rapport with them. You want to let them know that you can trust them. So you do want to communicate with them. And then they might express like workout stuff, which usually you want them to ask you more than anything. That you don't want them to just talk to you for no apparent reason. You want them to ask you fitness questions. That's what the goal is about that outside communication and having that open line of communication. Also, if your client invites you to dinner or something like that, that is totally fine. You go out to dinner, but just again, remember, keep it professional. So today we have a special guest, Lynne Thompson. She works for the UIC Rec Center. She's going to talk a little bit about her background, and then she's going to go ahead and talk about the interactions that might occur in the gym and outside the gym.
So my name, obviously, is Lynne Thompson. My bachelor's is in health education. My master's is in exercise science, and I'm a certified exercise physiologist with the American College of Sports Medicine.
Okay, so moving right into the first question. What do you feel is the most important aspect of a trainer to have when approaching clients for training?
So the first thing I would say is, if we're going to assume that the trainer has a solid foundational base of knowledge and skills and abilities that allow him to safely and effectively train his client. So if we're going to assume that that base exists, then I would say the most important characteristic that a trainer can bring is his ability to coach his client to be able to develop and achieve their own personal wellness vision of themselves, whatever that is. Something beyond just training, the training element inside the gym.
So maybe,
does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you think you could provide an example of something like that?
Sure. So if I was working with a client, obviously, like I said, there's a foundation that you have to provide. So I'm going to do my testing. I'm going to figure out an appropriate exercise design with appropriate progressions. All of those things. Those are the day-to-day workout things that I'm going to do with the client. Aside from that aspect of it, if I can coach my client in a way that allows him to think about, if I were to ask you, if you were to see yourself in the future and you were to envision the best possible version of yourself, can you describe to me what that would look like? Mm-hmm. So then I would have the client go through that, figuring out what does that look like for you? And then there is any number of techniques that I would use through listening to the client's description of that, to be able to pick out and assist the client in making goals to achieve what that vision is.
So what is the number one mistake a trainer makes in terms of interaction with their clients?
I think it's important for trainers to maintain a high level of professionalism with their clients. For example, you don't, when you have a significant other that is a doctor, you probably don't necessarily go to them for that. Or if they are a therapist, you probably aren't going to them for your counseling or your therapy either, because that type of interaction that happens, that different emotional connection, makes it difficult to accomplish what you need to do inside a professional relationship. Same type of thing when you're talking about a trainer working with a client. And for the trainer to be able to motivate the client effectively throughout the entire process, that level of professionalism needs to be there. And I'm not saying that you can't have different relationships with your client, but if your relationship with your client takes a different direction, then maybe you should evaluate whether or not you should continue training that client, that maybe you're not the best trainer for the client if the relationship takes a different turn.
What would you consider a healthy relationship outside the gym with a client?
Sure. So going back to my original statement where I talked about helping the client actually develop and achieve a personal wellness vision, a lot of those goals related to that and or any specifically fitness related goals might happen outside of the gym. For example, maybe part of that goal is to run a particular race or to compete in a particular event. I think it would be highly appropriate, and I think it would be great if the trainer could actually be at those events supporting. You've helped your client through, you've helped them through all these different stages, and then to be able to share in that culmination of that event would be awesome. So anything that relates to assisting the client to achieve those goals that they're setting inside the gym, that you can be a part of and help and to share in that joy, just extends that connection, because you do want to have a connection with your client. You just want it to stay on a professional level. So I think anything that relates specifically to whatever that goal is in any area that the client has that you're able to assist or to be at would be awesome.
Thank you guys for watching. Next episode we'll be covering how to retain clients and just keep progressing with your personal training business as an individual or as a gym.
Thank you guys for watching again, and like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check out our new video. It'll be coming out soon.
See you next time.
See you guys.